I trust James Gunn. I trust James Gunn. I trust James Gunn. But I have no idea what he's doing when it comes to this news. So we're all excited for Superman Legacy. As I've said before, I'm not the biggest fan of Superman, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Gunn does with this character, kind of rejuvenating it for a modern day era. Forget Man of Steel, forget Superman Returns. Let's see what Gunn has to play with his Superman Legacy card. And obviously it being the first film in the DC universe, you know, kind of opening that cinematic world, he's got a lot to do. And for a successful Superman solo film, there's a lot riding on this. So I've been really looking forward to it, with the casting of David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan as Clark and Lois. And I was really looking forward to a very solo, sort of grounded Superman film. You know, Superman already working at the Daily Planet and somehow kind of threading that into him being the Man of Steel and so on. But this news has just come from Variety, which kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. Superman cast Legacy cast adds Isabella Merced. I'm so sorry if I get these names wrong. Isabella Merced, Edie Gaffegi, and Nathan Fillion. We all know who Nathan Fillion is. These two, I had to Google them, who they were, and I'll get into a little bit who they are. But Superman Legacy, the movie that will mark the live-action rebirth of the DC Universe, has added 3 new actors to its cast, each of them playing a superhero with a long history in the comic books. So, Isabella... Well, actually, let's start with Edie. Eddie? I think it's Edie or Eddie. Apologies again. He will be playing one of the first characters Gunn teased when it was said that he was taking over DC Studios, Mr. Terrific. This was actually the picture he posted when he was like, yeah, I'm taking over DC, there's DC Studios, and he posted this picture. And we all speculated, is this a TV show about Mr. Terrific? Is this a film? You know, is this the first film? And it turns out his first appearance is going to be in Superman Legacy. If you don't know who Mr. Terrific is, basically it's Michael Holt, and he's like a scientist or something, and he has these balls that can do stuff, and he's like telepathic, I think, or he has telekinesis, basically. Again, I don't know every single character in the DC universe. I'm not going to sit here and lie that I know every single person these people are playing. But I've done my very, very quick research. And also, I don't really want to know every single thing. I don't want to go back to their first comics and cartoon appearances and everything, because I want to find out more about them from Gunn himself in his projects and so on. But if you don't recognise the guy playing Mr. Terrific, you might recognise him from a little film called XMen First Class. How to kill a mutant that is virtually indestructible. And actually he came out a couple of years ago criticizing the decision to kill a character that couldn't technically be killed. But anyway, it's all pretend and everything. But he will be playing Mr. Terrific in Superman Legacy. So the next cast member we have is Isabella Merced, and again, sorry if I got that wrong, and she played Dora the Explorer in the live action film that came out a couple of years ago. I thought I recognised her, and I'd seen the trailers for this and thought it looks absolutely bonkers, but she's like 22 years old, and she is playing Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl is a familiar character to me from the Justice League cartoon show, and I think Justice League Unlimited as well. It was either the two or both of them. And oh man, I always fancied Hawkgirl. I shipped Hawkgirl and Hawkman. So she'll be playing Hawkgirl in Superman Legacy. If you don't know what else Isabella is going to be in, she's actually going to be in a Spider-Man project coming up that you might know of, and it's Madam Web. And this is basically Sony's attempt to kind of do a multiverse sort of strategy with the Spider-Woman and Spider-Girl characters. involving them chasing down someone trying to kill Peter Parker in an alternative universe before he becomes Spider-Man. Sorry if I've spoiled Madam Web for you. I just realised. But she is playing Anya Corazon, who is a SpiderGirl in the Spider-Man mythology. So as well as playing Hawkgirl, she'll be playing SpiderGirl, which I think is kind of cool. Hero in the Marvel Universe, hero in the DCU universe. And then our last casting announcement from today is Nathan Fillion. We know this guy. He's been in a lot of James Gunn projects. He's been in a lot of other projects not to do with James Gunn. He's a very recognisable person. But the biggest surprise for me is who or what he is playing in this film. Because I think it's quite an important part. Because it's going to be an introduction, I guess, possibly, to the Green Lantern Corps in the DC universe, and that is Guy Gardner. Now, Guy Gardner is a Green Lantern, and he's a bit of a, I wouldn't say anti-hero, he's a bit of a badass, he's a bit of a little bit of a playboy and all this, and actually Finn Wittrock was going to play this character in the HBO Max Green Lantern series before Gunn and Safran took over and announced a completely different Green Lantern series coming to HBO Max that will fit into the DC universe. But Nathan Fillion, I really like this guy. I do have a smile on my face every time I see him. And obviously in another James Gunn project, superhero project, he played TDK, the detachable kid, and had a very short scene, supposedly survived. But with this reset that definitely didn't happen in the Flash that Gunn said would happen in the Flash, TDK is no longer, no longer exists. So, all that multiverse stuff doesn't really matter because we're starting fresh here. Now, I just want to talk about what I think overall about this casting quickly before we end the video, because it's already been too long. I'm quite shocked that Gunn has decided to integrate these special ability superheroes into the first solo Superman film. But like I did at the beginning, if it focuses, I trust James Gunn. I really do. Again, I don't know much about these characters. I don't know how they work in the DC universe, in the comics, in the animations, in the video games. I know bits and bobs of them, but I'm just very surprised he's going the direction which basically the DC extended universe started off, already including those heroes in its second title with Batman v Superman. And that's what didn't work for that in that movie for me, was including these including Wonder Woman and Batman so quickly, and the Flash and Cyborg. God, I always forget that computer scene with Wonder Woman. God, awful. But I'm surprised. But the thing with Gunn is that he can write. He is a good writer. He can tell stories. There is a bigger purpose here why these superheroes are here. I don't think it's just to go, by the way, this is a cinematic universe and you'll see these characters in other projects, TV shows, video games, other films, blah blah blah. I don't think it's that. There is something to the story. It's important to the story that these three characters in particular are in Superman's first solo film in the DC universe. I mean, this has come out of kind of not nowhere. Like, obviously Corenswet and Brosnahan were cast, but this casting's going quick. We haven't even got the casting for Lex Luthor, and I think it's going to be a big actor playing that. We're all going to be like, I think that's like one of the biggest roles apart from Superman and Lois to be announced for this DC universe going forward. Am I excited? Yes, of course I am. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Gunn does with this. Was I worried? Yes, but the more I think about it and think about Gunn's writing and how he's played other comic book characters into like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, and it's worked so well, I completely trust James Gunn. Hashtag I trust James Gunn. And you can say to me, but Snyder did something similar to this. And I'm not saying this is all Snyder, by the way. There were writers on this, Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer, but they integrated the Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and I guess Batman too quickly into the DC extended universe. You have to slow it down. And I'm really hoping Gunn isn't rushing into saying, we're in a cinematic universe, with the first DC universe film being Superman Legacy. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, what do you think of this casting? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video, and if you're not subbed to the channel, please subscribe. We're nearly at 300 subs. I really appreciate it. Anyway, until the next bit of Superman Legacy casting news, see you later.